Hello, Jerry. Hello, Abraham. It's so good to see you.
Nice to be seen. We're usually just a nebulous mist.
Well, what you just said was worth my price of admission today already. And it almost makes me a little, I don't know, intimidated to ask this question because maybe you've already answered it and I'm just not smart enough to pick up on it. I'm able to often match my vibration to that which will become. But it seems...
But wait, you see, right there, that's where you're off. You're matching your vibration to that which is. And that's the part that's tripping you up. The manifestation is yet to become. But the vibration already is. And if you could accept that it is, then you'd have something to match to. You see, that's what's tripping so many of you up. It's like holding myself into a vibrational frequency in order to make something happen later. And we don't want you to think about what's happening later. We want you to think in terms of what's happening now. And what's happening now is a visceral, emotional, aligning thing.
Okay.
Let's approach it in this way. Do you like the idea of being in love?
Yes.
Do you like being in love? Well, how do you define being in love? Is being in love someone fixing you a good breakfast? Hopefully not. What's being in love? What is being in love? Is being in love somebody buying you a nice house? Is being in love sharing an orderly space? What is being in love? What is in love? Think about it. In love is that feeling, isn't it? In love is that feeling that for many is fleeting because you didn't know how you got it and you don't know how to keep it. In other words, most people don't stay in love because they think that feeling of in love is about them and the other person, and it never was about them and the other person. Oh, the other person maybe behaved in a way that caused them to align with who they really are temporarily, but the feeling of being in love is alignment, you see. So everything that everyone wants, no matter what it is, a material object, a state of being, a pile of money, a relationship, a business, everything that anybody wants is for one reason only. They think they will feel better in the having it. And if we can convince you that it is present tense feeling that you're reaching for. So now go back to your statement again. We will hear you through, but can you feel that? Can you feel that? Can you feel the importance of knowing that? Say it again. Say what you said.
I'm able to often match my vibration to that which will become.
That which will become. That's the tripping point, isn't it? I'm matching my vibration to that which will become. And worse, you're doing it to make it become. Because it's the becoming that matters. And we say, no, it isn't. It isn't the becoming that matters. It's the alignment. It's the being in love that matters. Don't those who are in love tell you that? We don't need furniture. We're in love, and don't you see it? They're in love. It doesn't matter. They don't care where they are. They don't matter who's watching them. Jerry and Esther were on the 11th floor watching a couple making out in a glass elevator. It was so great to see. They had no idea. They had no idea. The world was not even part of their awareness. They were in love, you see. And so continue, and we'll just keep getting after you.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, you've kind of answered this with a lot of things, but it's that feeling of you're pulling that wagon behind you that, of stuff that has to happen to make the manifestation.
Well, therein lies your problem. Because the vortex has already assembled all cooperative components, and that feeling of dragging that heavy wagon behind is only the indicator that you're not a cooperative component yet. In other words, haven't you ever had a day when everything just went right for you? It was like somebody had called ahead and smoothed your trail. And nothing makes Esther more unhappy than to find out that someone in her life has called ahead to smooth her trail. She wants to smooth her own trail. She wants the vortex to smooth her trail. You see, and so do you.
Yes. Very much.
Read on, if you dare.
Well,
you represent humandom very well. In other words, it's the way most people are approaching it, and we're here to help you figure out what it is. In other words, doesn't it seem perfectly logical to anyone that when they're getting a breakfast that isn't what they've asked for in a world that is as established as this one is, that you should be able to just make a phone call and get it right? Doesn't that just make the most logical sense in the world? And we say, but in a vibrational world, it's not logical, because you can't set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and hear what's being broadcast on 98.7 FM. The frequencies have to match up. So what this conversation is about, we're just wanting to help you to get oriented into this vibrational world where feeling is everything. We'll hear you. Vibrational world where feeling is everything. We'll hear you.
Well, you've answered so many of my questions over, maybe 1 or 2 years here. And I often will ask you about the non-physical, and I feel sometimes that doesn't really benefit other people, but I hope you don't mind that.
Well, we do mind in this sense. We don't want to try to describe the non-physical in physical terms so that you can get your thoughts around it. Because now we're just creating fairy tales that don't help you. And now it's almost like, in fact, it's exactly like, what's tripping you up is wanting reality to please you, so all you have to do is observe it. That's what's happening. That's why there are wars. That's why you're taking over countries. That's why you're not tolerant of other religions. It's why you want to corral your citizens. It's why you have more people in jail than anybody on the planet. It's in other words, it's this belief that we have to control the environment because we have to observe the environment, and as we observe the environment, that's how we feel. That equals our life. So we wrestle it to the ground and kill it. We've got to control our environment so that we have a chance of feeling good. And we say that's so off. It's so off. You don't have to control. You cannot control all those uncontrollable things. And so in some ways, what people do when they ask questions like this is they want us to paint a picture of the non-physical, that then they can sort of observe the picture that we're painting, which brings them into the vortex. And we want to say to you, you got to hear us. You have an inner being, source energy, God being that is the larger part of you, that has been evolving because of everything that you've ever lived, who stands summoning you with every power that creates worlds. That's got to be enough for you guys. That's got to be enough. That's got to be enough. There's this signal that is throbbing, it is pounding, it is incessant, it is there for you in every moment to feel your way to. Please do the work. Do the work. Feel your way to it. Feel hatred and recoil at it and say, this is not who I am. Feel your anger and say, this is not who I am. Who I am is one who loves, and I'm going to find more loving thoughts. Feel your unworthiness and recoil at it and say, this is not who I am. And then do the work to find the better feeling thoughts. You see what we're getting at?
Yes.
You really don't need someone else painting yet another picture of non-physical that then people will take in very literal sense and use it to club future generations over the head with. You really do not need that. What you want to do is acquaint yourself with your living, breathing God self, guidance system, who lets you know in every moment whether the thought you're thinking about you or someone else is on the mark or off the mark. And if you're loving them, it's on. If you're doing anything less, it's off. If you are appreciating yourself, you're on the mark. If you are optimistic, you're on the mark. If you are expecting the world to be brighter, you're on the mark. If you're looking for positive aspects, you're on the mark. If you are looking forward to what's coming, you're on the mark. Your emotion is now. It's everything. It's life, you see. It's real time. That's the thing that we want to inspire you to. We want you to feel the real timeness of it. We want you to stand in your body and look out into your world and feel the real timeness of it, because you've trained yourself little by little from inside the vortex to the frequency of who you really are, so that when you look into a person's eyes or into an animal's eyes or into your environment, you're allowing Source to look through you, and you're receiving the benefit of what Source sees and how Source feels. You see, that's really good.
That was good.
Something else? It's sort of like we were saying, what is being in love? And we think most of you acknowledge that being in love is a feeling. It feels free. It feels happy. It feels optimistic. It feels like I want more. It feels, I feel better about life. I feel better about me. I want to live forever. I want to do stuff. I'm eager. I'm frisky. I'm whole. And there isn't anyone who doesn't recognize that high-flying good feeling of alignment that is represented by that. So in the same way that it's not even possible to describe what being in love is other than by using emotional words, it's not possible to describe non-physical other than by using emotional words. When you're in love, you're as close to non-physical as you will ever be, and you understand it. When you feel in love with yourself, when you feel proud of yourself, when you feel confident, that's as close to non-physical as you will ever be. Non-physical is a feeling experience. It's not a manifested experience. It's a feeling experience.
I feel that from you, and I just wanted to ask one question. We, as humans, our emotions guide us. What guides Abraham?
Same thing. Emotions. In other words, we've been reaching for that alignment. It's the same everywhere. We're just really good at it.
I see.
We're so good at it, there's never any deviation, you see.
I see.
Good time for a segment of refreshment.
Thank you.